Chapter 9, Attachment Style and Anxiety. Attachment style is a relevant topic for this kind of work because, again, it's about making the unknown known, the unconscious conscious, to be able to really understand how we operate. And attachment style plays a major role in how anxiety shows up. The theory behind attachment style is that the bond between a child and their caregiver is what plays a crucial role in shaping the child's ability to regulate, to form emotions, and to regulate their emotions and to form relationships. The deeper physiological understanding behind attachment style has to actually do with emotional regulation. So when an adult caregiver is in what's called coherence, when their brain and heart are in that parasympathetic place, that place of rest and digest, the place that is the opposite of fight or fright, their brain and heart and nervous system are giving off waves of information that are calming to the child. And so specifically when the caregiver is holding a baby and the baby's nervous system is unregulated, that helps the adult's nervous system will help teach the baby's nervous system how to calm down and to move into a place of coherence or regulation. So that's in an ideal situation. But what can happen if a parent is depressed, distracted, chaotic, addicted? These are all ways that then the caregiver is actually not available, their nervous system's not available to help inform that child. And so then the child learns different ways to either keep themselves safe or avoid having needs. And that's how we start to understand more about like anxious attachment versus avoidant attachment. This graphic shows the spectrum of what happens when somebody is low anxiety and they have low emotional avoidance. That's what leads to secure attachment. But if they have low anxiety and then they're higher on the emotional avoidance, that's where they become more avoidant, hands off. They step away when things get difficult or emotionally scary. And then on the other side, if you're low emotional avoidance and high anxiety, you fall into the anxious attachment. You're trying to avoid your emotions, and yet the anxiety is still running the show. And all of these are different distinctions that are helpful to understand because you want to be able to understand who you are and how you were programmed to operate. And also, then this translates to understanding the people that you know and love, the people that are in your family members, the people you have relationships with, including coworkers. So understanding how people operate and what also might be their triggers is going to allow you to show up in a way that everybody can consciously address how to get their needs met. This is where it can often be useful to start to talk about codependency as well, because codependency is something that can be really confusing when it shows up in most of its more subtle areas. So it's obvious to think of codependency as somebody who is married to an alcoholic and they go around always like cleaning up the beer cans and making it look like there's no evidence, right, to help that person not deal with the beer cans or the vodka bottles kind of thing. So that's like obvious codependency. But codependency looks a lot more confusing on the more subtle levels because it gets really conflated with love. For example, if somebody is anxious about being alone or worried about losing their partner, and so then they develop a habit as a couple to always be together, where one person maybe they never go to the grocery store alone or they never go for walks alone. They're always together because they don't want to trigger that anxiety or that fear. So codependency is a pattern of behavior in which one person excessively relies or tries to control another person who's usually struggling with either an addiction or an emotional or psychological problem. It's a dysfunctional relationship dynamic that leads to enabling behaviors, self-neglect, and emotional distress for both parties. And it can show up in a lot of different ways because it can look like being overly accommodating or people-pleasing, lacking boundaries, or being overly controlling, micromanaging, neglecting one's own needs and desires. So it's important to start to understand and to be able to look at how you're showing up in your relationships. What are your attachment patterns? And is there any large or small examples of codependency? And that leads us to another great, really kind of popular book called The Love Languages. It's another great way to start to understand and to see who you are, how you operate, what works for you in this world, and then how can you also express that to other people so that you can continue to get your needs met. So the 5 love languages are the primary ways in which people express and experience love. But how you give love may be different than how you receive love. And sometimes love and affection get lost in translation. So imagine a father who loves to give gifts, but a daughter who appreciates quality time. If the father is rarely at home, the daughter's likely to not feel his love just by receiving his gifts. Or if one spouse gives acts of service but lacks in physical touch, the other's partner who values physical touch might not feel like the love is enough. So it's really important not only to understand how you give and receive love or express it, but also the people who you want to receive it. Are you providing it in a way that's going to resonate and register for them? So we've got words of affirmation, which could be something like, I appreciate your energy today, or I really value your support. Acts of service, I got your car cleaned. Gifts, quality time together. Now that doesn't necessarily have to be just one-on-one time, but it is quality time. And then physical touch. And so take a moment to think about what resonates for you. Maybe what's your top 1 or top 2. Ask yourself if some of these love languages don't mean much to you at all. Some people could just do without gifts, but everybody's really different. And then the people in our lives are all different. So take some time to start to get to know yourself and the people around you. And here are some reflections to take it deeper. In what ways do I tend to seek or avoid intimacy and closeness with others? How do I react when I feel rejected or abandoned? What is my preferred way of expressing affection? What is my preferred way of receiving love? And how do I typically react when someone I care about is either upset or distressed? These are some great questions to take your time with and to take it deeper and to make this whole practice and chapter real and apply to you.